Most Courageous Character in Ender's Game by Abigail Honey. Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. Winston S. Churchill. Ender Wiggin is a small boy who was elected into battle school at a very young age. He had great military strategy, and many people thought he was unbreakable. However, Ender was not invincible, as many people thought. The way he got through battle school and many other hard times in his life was by having tremendous amounts of courage. In Orson Scott Card's book Ender's Game, Ender is the most courageous character. Ender showed courage by standing up to Bonzo and Stilson when they tried to fight him. Ender, however, was trying to figure out a way to forestall vengeance, to keep them from taking him in a pack tomorrow. I have to win this now and for all time, or I'll fight it every day and it will get worse and worse. In his fight with Stilson, Ender specifically states that he wanted to end the fights in the future by winning the present fight. He thinks that by showing Stilson and his friends that he can win one fight, they will think that he will win future fights and not bother to fight him anymore. He thinks that Stilson will consider backing off if he knows Ender is strong enough to beat him in a fight. His strength can control me. If I'm to walk away from here, I have to win quickly and permanently. But this time it will be my body that breaks, unless I can break him first. In his fight with Bonzo, he specifically states that he has to win quickly, or else Bonzo will kill him. Ender thinks that he is not going to die, he has to win. If he doesn't, Bonzo will leave him no mercy. Courage shown in this case is the fact that Ender is able to think reasonably in a scary situation. He is able to control his brain when he is faced with a seemingly impossible threat. Ender showed courage when he chose to keep playing the Giants drink game after he saw his reflection as Peter in the mirror. Many people would have just stopped playing if they saw their evil brother's face in a mirror, but Ender didn't. Instead, he chose to try to stop Peter's face from appearing in the mirror. He tried to kill the snake, and he tried to break the mirror. When none of those things actually happened, he didn't give up. He kept trying and thought of what he could do to get past that obstacle in the game. Courage shown in this case is the fact that Ender chose to keep going when he saw and experienced something that scared him. He didn't understand the obstacle that was thrown at him, but instead of cowering from it, he chose to try to take it down. Even if it didn't work, he was willing to try to make it work somehow. Ender showed courage when he chose to go to command school, even though he didn't want to at first. She had convinced Ender into going back into his training, and he wouldn't soon forgive her for that. Valentine was able to convince Ender that he had to go to command school to save Earth, when before that Ender was opposed to the idea. He didn't want to go back to training, but wanted to stay by the lake forever. Valentine was taken to him by Graf and forced to talk to Ender. Ender had said he didn't want to see Valentine, but their talk ended up being vital to Ender's education and the future of humanity. When Valentine was able to convince Ender to go back to command school, Ender was probably permanently scarred because he hadn't had any motivation to go back. Courage shown in this case was the fact that Ender was willing to do something he hadn't wanted to do in the first place, and he did it with purpose. He decided that he had to go back to command school based on his talk with Valentine at the lake. Some might say that Ender is not the most courageous character. Perhaps Valentine could be called most courageous instead of Ender. However, Ender is still more courageous than Valentine. Valentine didn't go through battle school. Valentine didn't stand up to bullies when she was 6 years old. Ender did all of these things, and many more. In conclusion, Ender showed amazing amounts of courage throughout the book, and he pushed through much more than a person could think of.